Hello mailing list, I'm putting this into the video as well because I'm doing some live shows in London and around London. There's only a few hundred tickets. It's this brilliant show I'm doing using Shakespeare monologues. It's just a couple of hundred tickets, some at the Almeida Theatre, some in Norden Farm, and one at a beautiful vegan restaurant called OmNom. The details are in this email and the links to tickets are in this email too. Now have a look at the rest of the video. Notice that I'm in a different state and a different outfit and everything because this is a last minute edition. Thank you. Hello, thank you very much for becoming a part of this community. What are our aspirations as a community? To feel connected, to become enlightened and awakened, to deal with the suffering that culture inflicts, that life inflicts, the inherent, inevitable suffering of being alive, knowing that one day you and everyone you love will die. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with corruption, the antagonism of the state, the fear of nature? Well, we'll start by forming just a little mailing list, and perhaps from this we'll form communities. I've been looking at communities out there in for example, I know in Costa Rica people are starting like eco-villages and stuff like that. I've been to an eco-village that the Hare Krishna started in Mumbai before, years ago, before when travel was plausible. This, I think, might be part of the answer. We will start digital communities initially, physical communities eventually, one global confederacy ultimately, based on our shared ideals, on allowing each community to live however they want to live, regardless of how we feel about it, as long as it's in accordance with some basic principles of tolerance and kindness to one another, and that anyone can join or leave. Well, not join, I suppose, because it might be you can join that community if you're willing to live by its rules and leave that community whenever you want to. These are the kind of simple Sesame Street ethics that I would like to push forward when suggesting an anarcho-syndicalist localised future for everyone. I've got lots of messages coming for you about Localisation Day. My friend Helena Norberg-Hodge has got lots of details, so keep watching out for videos about that. But the most important thing I want to tell you is I'm doing a small series of live shows. I've got a big tour coming later in the year, but I've got this small series of very unique and interesting live shows. I'm doing a show called Our Little Lives, where I use speeches and duologues from the works of Shakespeare to tell the story of my own life. Like I'll do a speech from, say, Richard III, and then comment on that speech from Richard III. Richard III talks about ugliness, power, rage, his own feelings of deformity, and in the case of Richard III, actual deformity, but how I felt as a kid like that. Like, how can you weaponize your sense of inferiority or your sense of castration or wounding? Anyway, I've been directed by one of the great theatre directors of our time, Ian Rickson, most famous for having directed Jerusalem with Mark Rylance. He's conceived and put this show together with me using Shakespearean text. If you want to come and see this show, it's on in the next few weeks. The details are of course in the email, and the links to acquire tickets are there. The tickets are like 20 quid or 10 quid if you can't really afford it. And if you actually really couldn't afford anything but wanted to come, we would find a way to get you in there if you got in touch with us. But yeah, it's 20 quid or 10 quid. So let me tell you a little bit about it. There are performances on the 1st, 3rd and 6th of June at Norden Farm in Maidenhead. The one on the 6th is at the Curve in Slough. So these performances are in sort of like Buckinghamshire, Berkshire, like around that Slough area, Slough and Maidenhead specifically. As I say, the details are in the thing. And there's some more shows coming up soon at the Almeida in London, and those tickets will become available in a little bit, and I'll announce them first to you via this email list. And I'll, I don't know, I'll try and give them away for nothing, or there might be a small charge. We'll give this money to charity, by the way, probably BAC O'Connor, an addiction charity that I work with in this country. It's a treatment centre. They always let people come in for nothing. It's a brilliant place. Look it up, learn about it if you want. In my documentaries about drugs, we'll put a link to them. When I did those documentaries about addiction, BAC's the one I went to, I think on both occasions, in both of them. Anyway, so come and see me do this Shakespeare stuff. If you saw my interview with Jordan Peterson on Under the Skin, I read a bit of one of the speeches. I can't remember which one, probably Richard II. Richard II, oh my God, it's not one of Shakespeare's most famous plays, but it's got this amazing bit in it. It's sometimes referred to as a kind of proto-Hamlet, i.e. this dude is like locked inside his own mind, trapped by his own thoughts, dealing with his own ego. The reason I love Shakespeare so much is because he's dealing with archetypal wisdom, mysticism. I think that Shakespeare if he'd have wanted to, he could have gone, this is my religion and these are my religious texts. But he was, as a result of commerce, culture and circumstance, a playwright and a poet. And so his content is regarded as entertainment. You know, perhaps the most sublime and brilliant entertainment the world has ever seen. And I suppose all art is art entertainment, or does it have a function higher than that? That's, I suppose, one of the questions I'm addressing in this show, Our Little Lives. Me, Ian Rickson, come and see one of the little, they're called scratch performances. I've never been comfortable with that term for some reason. Scratch performances, I guess it means starting from scratch, I don't know. But anyway, as I say, 1st, 3rd and 6th of June. And the money will go to charity. If you can't afford it, let me know. But 20 quid or tenner if you're broke. Oh, okay, let's do some questions from the audience. Barbara, you know, and the audience is you. You are the audience. That's what you are right now. Barbara Murphy goes, I've slowly lost my ability to show up on time. Oh, I've never been good at that. I don't, like, sometimes I don't like it when people look at a clock. It's not real. Who cares? I mean, yes, I admit it's measurable, it's constant or whatever, but it varies. Einstein proved that. It's different, it's moving around all over the place. How seriously are we going to take time? These are the kind of conversations I have when I arrive late places. It's not real, it's made up. Don't you know that a lot of Indian gurus, and I have heard, I'm not in a position to say categorically, but in Indian culture, I mean like the country India, like it's like normal to not turn up on time. That's what I heard. I don't know that for a fact, but certainly Indian gurus that I've known, they ain't looking at no clock. I'll tell you that. And I like that. Me, I'm operating on, this is the plane I live on, baby. It's 1:30 Krishna o'clock. I'll see you in quarter an hour. But, Barbara, you might be having some challenges as a result of your tardiness. So let's talk through them now, because sometimes people don't like it. They see it's disrespect. In fact, Ian, who directs this show, he hates me being late. He's the person I'm like, oh shit, man, I can't be late. It's Ian. He won't like it. Like normally I think, look, I get things done quicker than most people. Like, for example, you know, like performances and stuff, thanks to the Lord God. Like, normally I remember things quickly and all that. So I think, I just should get there. I don't like being places too early. I get nervous. Go there, do the show, get out. But anyway, these are all basically my list of excuses. Let's deal with your problems, Barbara. This has increasingly become more and more difficult. In fact, it doesn't make any difference where I'm going, to meet a friend for a meal, a movie, go to work, group on time, yoga class, doctor's appointment, or even get bed. I've got a sign hanging up in my kitchen. It says, sorry I was late, I didn't want to come. That's my sort of like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. Like, I'd rather stay still under a blanket on heroin. Now, I've compromised on the heroin because it was causing some lifestyle issues. The blanket, I'm keen to keep with me at all times. Wear it if necessary, if I do have to go somewhere. But, you know, but listen, I suppose other people see it as a little bit of a slight or a slur, and it can cause complications. So I would say probably, I'd give you what I reckon Ian Rickson, director of the show Our Little Lives, me and Ian Rickson, that you can come to for 20 quid, 10 quid, have a look at those. 1st, 3rd and 6th. First 2, Maidenhead. It's the one on the 6th, Slough. Only a few tickets because all the social distancing and masks and all that gear. There's only a few, so you better crack on and get them right now, because if we don't get rid of them all to this mailing list, and I sincerely hope we do, then we'll put it on the internet, they'll be out the door. Anyway, my point is this. He would say that it's an expression of like some unconscious resistance, that you don't want to do the thing, or it's some sort of inability to participate or let go. I heard this guy once, also called Ian, curiously enough. He was one of the guys that conceived the In-Betweeners. He was a pretty talented dude himself. He said, Ian Morris, he said, well, there's only one reason to be late, and that's if you think your time is more valuable than other people's time. I know, that's harsh, isn't it? I don't think my time's more valuable than other people's time. I just think my time's my time. That's what I think. But hey, look, we all make deals in this life. So I feel utterly helpless. What are your thoughts about this? Please, anything. Right. Barbara, what I would say is if you want to change, you've got to work a program. So you admit you're powerless over something and your life has become unmanageable. You've done that. You've got to believe it's possible to change. Of course it's possible to change. When I'm working with Ian Rickson, I'm not late. I'm like, you don't like it, I'll get there on time. The god of lateness I allowed to govern me for a long, long while. I'm probably the last person you should have asked about this, Barbara. I would say this, you want to change. Believe it's possible to change. Accept help in changing. Spend some time meditating. Why is it that I'm late? What is it that I'm resisting? What is it that I don't want to do? What is it that I don't want to do? There may be some things in your life that you're committing to that you actually simply do not want to do, and you might have to honour that. From now on, though, when you make a decision to do something, you should accept fully that you have made a commitment. And not for the other person, but for yourself, you should be there on time, because it's obviously causing you a lot of anxiety. So, like, you've made a commitment, you believe it's possible to change, I know you do. Accept this advice, ask yourself why it is, and then from now on, if it's a doctor's appointment, you're like, right, I'm meant to be there at 3 o'clock, you've now got to trick yourself. You know, like I used to do things like set clocks earlier and later and all that crap, you know, tricking myself. You've got to say, from now on, I'm going to be early places, and when I get there, I'm going to sit patiently. Like Eckhart Tolle says, you know, sometimes people go, sorry for keeping you waiting. Eckhart Tolle goes, I wasn't waiting, I was living my life. So get places, reflect, be present. You know, a lot of people think that the reason I'm late is because I'm a person that's lived in a lot of chaos. So I'm unconsciously attracted to creating chaos. And one of the ways I can create chaos is arriving late. I don't like people to feel disrespected, you know. What I feel like you want to do, mate, is consider that you don't want to put yourself through the difficulty and challenges of your lateness. Set yourself some simple challenges. Say, I'm going to get to this place for 1 o'clock, and then watch the resistance and overcome it. It might even make you cry or something. You might feel like you're giving up some control, but you're not. You're doing it for you. Now, in spite of my glibness, I hope that was useful to you, darling, or mate, depending on how you like to be called, or you there. Above the Noise. Now, you know my podcast, Above the Noise, it's a weekly meditation. They're getting better and better. If you subscribe to Luminary for Under the Skin, you can also listen to Above the Noise. Like, you can listen to it for nothing once you've got Luminary. And if you don't subscribe to Luminary yet, you should really consider it, because if you get the yearly plan, it's as little as $2.99. Is that a month? Yeah, it's $2.99 a month. That's like £3 a month. Now, I know what poverty is. I've been poor. But this thing is worth having. If you can't afford it, don't bother. But if you can afford it, $2.99 a month for a yearly plan, it's a good investment. Plus, there's going to be really good guests coming up and a lot of good stuff coming your way. So, and the meditation, I also do stuff on my side channel. If you can't afford anything, Awakening with Russell Brand, I do stuff for free there. Okay, the link to Luminary is in the description. Sign up. If you're already a member of Luminary and you're not meditating, get meditating, because this is like designed for anybody to learn how to meditate. Recently on Under the Skin, also on Luminary, I've had Marianne Williamson, Glenn Greenwald, Yoga with Adrian, Nick Estes. He's like a scholar, academic and native person. He talks a lot about that Dakota pipeline in America and how Joe Biden's like sanctioned a load of mining stuff that's fucking up Native American land. You'll love it. Also, I've got Dr. David Bocelli. He does good stuff with trauma. You love him, don't you, Demile?
Yeah.
Robert McFarlane, genius writer. You should read his work. He'll give you, enhance your vocabulary. He texted me the other day and he used the word empyrean, heaven, imperium. I think I'm saying it right. Anyway, you'll learn new words off Robert McFarlane. Gabor Mate is coming up soon, and some other fantastic guests. So sign up to Under the Skin. Here's another question. This one's from Dave. Currently, I work in the railway. I hate it. Oh man, I hate doing a job that you're not enjoying. It's bullshit. Post office, hated it. All jobs. Sometimes on a job, I would just like, remember I was a waiter. I remember once just been about to deliver some stuff to a table, and the thought just went, fuck this, man. I just put the stuff down and walked off out the fire exit, never went back. Capone's, Lakeside. I still wanted the 50 quid for the day I'd done, and it takes ages. We know what it is with a job. By the time you've got the money, I can't remember what it was for anymore. It was too long ago. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you get it in a month. Fuck off. Give me it now. I'm a drug addict. Give me the money. But anyway, mate, that's not you. This is my problem, not your problem. I work at the railways. I hate it. I work nights and weekends. I've always worked, but had numerous jobs. They've never been anything I enjoy. I'm trying to find what I'm here for, what I'm meant to do with the rest of my life purpose. I listen to motivational videos daily. Yeah, I find myself stuck. I know there's something missing from my life. I'm a great admirer of you. Now you've changed my life. You've changed my life, my own life, mine, Russell's, dramatically. Can you pass on some wisdom? Of course I can. If you're doing a job you hate, you're in a position that I've been in. Just because you're doing a job you hate now, that doesn't mean your life's over or that you failed. I did for a long time till I was, it just went on for ages. Poverty, signing on, shit jobs. It just went on and on. Thankfully it's over now. Thank you, God. What I suggest you do in terms of finding your purpose is in prayer and meditation. And if you're not meditating, get onto Awakening with Russell, or if you can afford it, get the weekly thing I do in your prayer and meditation. And if you want, I'll do a Finding Your Life's Purpose meditation just for you, Dave, and I'll do it on Awakening so that you can find it there. Ask yourself, what is it I want? Somewhere in you know your purpose. It might not be wedded to the templates that our consumer culture has given us. Like, oh, it turns out I want to be a World Cup winning footballer or a champion boxer or a world-class neuroscientist. It might not be that. It might be, I want to serve people. My mate Willie, he works with homeless people in Oxford at a place called Aspire, and he showed me like their video of like people that have been through the Aspire system and that they got well and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, and they're going, I found my purpose working for Aspire, working with Aspire. Obviously these people are presumably not earning loads of money, but their work is, you're saving people's lives. Your work is connecting people where people need to be met, where they need to be connected with, where they need to be nourished. Dave, there is no meaning in the pursuit of aggrandizing the individual. I should know. I spent my whole life doing it and it leaves you nowhere. I still have, you know, the ego and all that, and there is glory in the uniqueness of my individual character, as there is in yours, as there is in all of ours. But unless your purpose is allied to something that is about helping and serving something bigger than you, it doesn't need to be other people, but other people's a good one. Could be animals, could be the environment, could be plants, could be some small thing that means something to you. Invite yourself to understand you will have to confront certain sacrifices in order to pursue it, because you've got this job and you'll have to leave that job and you'll be scared about money, and for all I know you've got a family and commitments and you're certainly in debt because you live in the world and the world won't let you live without debt. So you'll have to go through fear and challenges. Are you ready, Dave? Is this something you're willing to do? Is now the right time to do it? It might not be. The first thing to do is to invite the information, the wisdom that is within you, to come forth. And when that comes forth, things will become clearer. You can do it. You don't need to live your life tyrannized by the ideas of others. It's possible for you to change. What about my YouTube channel, Awakening with Russell? I've mentioned it twice. For God's sake, go and subscribe to it. Yoga with Adrian, she's on there doing stuff with me, isn't she? There's loads of good meditations, kundalini stuff, breath exercises that'll get you out of your nut. I spoke to Wim Hof the other day, and that really blasted me into another dimension. Like when you see someone operate at that level of enthusiasm, who when he does his own breath exercises, he goes... You think, fuck me, man, I gotta live life properly. You can't fuck around. You know, since then, every day my meditations have been stronger. I've been doing his method. I've been doing the cold showers. Well, I've got a cold plunge, and I can get in it's not only a cistern, it's a ex-septic tank filled up with cold water. I get in that thing, submerge myself. But people I know do showers, the cold showers. I think it's probably a bit harder to do a cold shower because it's hitting you in little bits. Whereas submerge, I cut my brain off at the stem. We're going in. My brain's like, what are we doing? And we're in, like, just one breath, next breath, we're out. Like, we're into it, and then we're staying in there. And then you realise, what is this feeling? What is it to be cold? What is it to be cold? I'm observing the coldness. It's good for you, man. Anyway, Wim Hof was Wim Hof. You don't need me to explain what he is. But I'm saying that there's lots of stuff in there. Kundalini, you should check out my Awakening with Russell. I'll probably do some more stuff with Wim Hof. Okay, and yeah, the main channel as well. Royal rebrand, why we need a monarchy. Didn't do as well as I thought it would. Not as many people watched it, but it's a good video about what's going on with the royal family and what it all means about power. Have a look at that on YouTube. There's a link to it in the email. Have a look at this one about Bitcoin, me trying to understand Bitcoin like a sort of a rabbit trying to understand a kind of guitar. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Pentagon and Obama admit UFOs are real. Good one about UFOs. The people are just admitting UFOs are real. Well, are they some advanced technology? No. It's a superior intelligence from either space or another dimension. You choose. All right, one more question, then we'll wrap this crazy thing up. Dan goes, I've just watched the interview you did with Brené Brown. During the conversation, you discussed whether or not we're doing our best. I was wondering how you consider this in relation to determinism. Well, I think, like, Brené and me, when we were chatting about that thing, she was saying, like, sometimes she didn't believe that people were doing their best. If you listen to the podcast, she was saying, like, sometimes I'd see people and they weren't looking after their kids properly. I thought they can do better. That's what she's saying, you know, because she's obviously worked in that field a long time. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, does it? With people in your own life, people you love, and they think, come on, you did better than this, shape up. Otherwise, you'd never complain about anyone doing anything. Everyone's doing their best. But I actually think people are doing their best. Everyone is doing their best. And when it appears that their best isn't good enough for you, that's because they've got a whole other load of shit they're dealing with. Sometimes I don't want to deal with all that load of shit. Sometimes I feel that I know what's best, but I don't know nothing. Who knows best is this entity beyond space and time. And this entity beyond space and time. I believe this one is our Lord. And although this is not a very expensive thing, and they all actually have the exact same head. So, but this one, except for this bald dude, who I'm going to go with, well, there's two bald dudes. I think they're both Peter, but everyone looks like Jesus. Now, you could say that, oh no, well, isn't that about the Christ? No, they're lazy with the mould. But anyway, love the Lord and love Lord Krishna. So no one knows what's right. And I feel like, why not operate as if people are, why not assume people are trying their best? Why not assume that? Why not assume that? Why not love people? So we've got to. I don't know about determinism. Perhaps I need to look that word up. There's a few shout outs here. Lucy Bow, I haven't meditated in weeks, but your video reminds me why I need to, and it helps. Thanks, that's love from Lucy. Keep doing the ones on Above the Noise. Mike Jones, love you, Russell. It's been one of my most healthy pivots, nice phrase, made in my YouTube consumption pattern. Such a brilliant balance of psychology, spirituality and politics. You watch those videos, let me know, comment as well. Comment on this one, because this one's only watched by mailing list members, so your comments will be seen. Now make sure that you go ready for next week's email, because I've got a lot of important information about my live tour. Anyway, I love you. I hope you're happy with your lives. I hope you feel connected to me. I feel connected to you. We'll speak again soon. Mwah!